Hi people, welcome to Kat's Intuition. I'm Krystal Kat, and today I will be doing the VR to Tarot Magpie on YouTube, and it is the Tarotmance. I thought this was kind of cute and figured I would join in on the cuteness. All right, so prompt number 1 is enemies to lovers. This is a deck or style or system you've insisted just wasn't for you until you realized it was. Okay, so I only have one deck, literally, to show for this in my whole tarot library because, well, it's just a style that I have never been called to, attracted to in tarot. Now, granted, this is an oracle, but still, oracle tarot, I've never been drawn to collage style decks. And this is, for me, that deck. I absolutely love this deck, though. This is the River Oracle, and as you see, there are no keywords, there are no titles, and for me, that is perfection. I'm trying to get away from that glare. It's the bane of my video existence. This deck is perfection. My intuition can do its thing. I can get all the messages from these cards, and I don't have to worry about whether or not I agree with the key words or the key phrases that go along on the cards. Even in the book doesn't even give you key words. It doesn't give you key phrases. It just gives you almost like a little story or a little poem that goes along with the card. And oh, I love it. So this is definitely a style that I had not been really in love with before. The whole thought of all this, because I'm a creative myself, and I am not a messy creative. My aunt is, and I love that about her. She can so do the whole collage artwork, or just my lines have to be straight. I'm a perfectionist, which is stupid, right? Because we can never obtain perfection. We can never really be perfect, but this is the only card in the deck that I feel does not fit, and it's actually the cover of the box. But to me, this just does blah, blah. Sorry, I'm trying to. My brain is going faster than my mouth. This just does not match the rest of the deck. So, anyways, yeah. So this would be the one for enemies to lovers because, oh my goodness, this is probably my top oracle deck because I love that it allows me to interpret the cards completely on my own and not have to worry about keywords or phrases. Okay, prompt number 2 is Friends to Lovers, a deck you used to like well enough and then one reading deepened or changed the relationship with it. This, I'm going with the Crow Tarot. This was a recent birthday gift from my mother during the 10 days of Krystal. You may have heard me speak about that during other videos or in other videos. The reason why I chose this for this prompt is because I really did like the artwork on this deck, but upon using it, I found just how very, very deep this deck actually is. And I love how, and as you're seeing, this kind of has a collage feel to it. So I'm noticing that perhaps my tarot taste is evolving or changing in certain ways. Maybe not big, but in certain ways, I can definitely see a change. And I love I don't know if we can call it completely collage style or this abstract, perhaps, a slight touch of abstract in these decks. This unprecise, unclear imagery that we have in these cards. I really do resonate with these images. I love it. So this is a deck that, of course, I liked because I love crows. And out here where I live, in the woods, I see them every day. I have a small little murder that comes and chills in my yard and serenades me in the mornings and afternoons, and I absolutely love them. So I liked this deck, but in using it, I fell in love with it, and I have a deeper connection and respect for it. So yeah, so this is why this was Friends to Lovers, the Crow Tarot. Okay, so number 3 is Forced Proximity. A deck you used for a month, took on holiday, like took on vacation, made yourself work with it, and during that time, it changed your relationship with it. Okay, so I almost didn't have an answer for this one because I don't have any decks that I had to like force myself to like. I don't pull in any decks that I don't like. I don't force myself to like decks, right? They are a tool that I bring in that I feel that I can connect with. But so in for the sake of answering, let me know in the comments. Do you feel like I answered this? Because what I chose for this was the tarot. I don't know what the name of this deck is. There is no name anywhere, not even on the guidebook. So let me explain to you why I feel that this deck is a forced proximity type deck, or why I feel that I could get away with having this in this prompt. This is because this is a pip deck. And normally of course, now we're getting only majors and courts, right? Oh, wow. Okay. The deck is mocking me right now. They're like, oh, you didn't like me at first, huh? So as you see, it is a pip deck. And back in the day, I swore up and down that I just didn't like pip decks. And I would not purchase a deck if it were indeed a pip deck. But this was gifted to me this past Christmas, so Christmas of 2023, by my mother, and oh my, I love this deck. This is definitely something that, while it wasn't like a forced use or something that I took on vacation or anything like that, it was gifted to me, but I feel like it could still fit this prompt because I didn't go out and purchase it. It was given to me, and because of that, I used it. So would that be considered a forced proximity? Do you get me how I'm kind of connecting the dots there, or how I feel that gives me enough leeway to have this as an answer here? I feel that it does. Let me know. I could be totally overthinking this, but that is why I feel like this one fits this prompt, is because it is a pip deck, even though it doesn't really want to show you its pips. Can you see that? It is just quartz and majors for the majority. But I love this deck. This deck makes my mouth water. The rose petal finish on this cardstock is divine. It feels like a lush deck. It really does. It's got all the luxe in here. This was actually in my previous video, the Taurus vibe decks that I picked from my tarot library to fill that vibe, right? That fit, that Taurus fit of luxury, and this definitely fits that luxe space for me. The rose petal finish is absolutely perfect. It does not get stuck at all. It doesn't clump together, but yet you still get that delicious feel. So yeah, so that is what I chose for forced proximity. Okay, so there is one prompt that I don't have an answer to. So for some of these, I have multiple, so I feel like that's okay. Number 4 is soulmates. And the prompt says, when it was just meant to be, a deck that you fell in love with immediately. And okay, if you watch my videos, you may perhaps be tired of hearing me speak of this one, but I just have to because it answers this prompt perfectly. A deck that I fell in love with immediately would, of course, be my very first tarot deck ever. This is the first printing of Tarot of the Kat people. And oh my goodness, I absolutely love it. They didn't even have it in stock. I am an impatient person, true Taurian here. I am an impatient person, and I wanted it then and there, but nope, I actually waited. And my mother was the one that gave me this deck, and I waited for it to come in. Oh, and it was well worth the wait. I absolutely love this deck. I had to flip through a book for it. My mother showed me this great big huge book with tons of different tarot decks in it, and this one, as soon as I saw it, I didn't even have to look any further. This just pulled me in. This captured me, and I have been in love with it ever since. This is still my top number one tarot deck. It will forever be my number one tarot deck, and I don't know what else to say other than it is good. This is a US Games deck, and they did really good on the cardstock. I feel that nothing should be under this cardstock in terms of thickness. It's just so good. There are cats in each of the cards in some way, shape, or form. And it's just good. It's beautiful. No other deck can or will ever be number one, because this will always be hold the number one spot. So yes, so soulmates, that is definitely the Tarot of the Cat people. I do have another deck for this prompt, and that would be my True Black. This deck, oh my. This has all the looks. This deck is perfection. Oh, as soon as I saw this deck, I was in love, and I just had to have it. My mother gifted this to me my last birthday. I just wanted to show you those beautiful backs. This deck is everything. My favorite color is black. Oh, look, my mother made this for me. It says black is so much more cheerful. It's this cute little box that I have, and I sit it up like this, and I just put my little black stones in there. It's got my little black cat. Oh, I just love it. Since my nickname is Kat, it's perfect, hence the name Kat's Intuition. This deck is everything, and it's a deck that kept on giving for me, because when I saw this deck online and instantly fell in love, whoa, how are all the majors just coming out? Wow. Okay. So when I saw the backgrounds here, the shiny ones that are only on the major cards, I just thought they were there for, see it there, for decor, just something pretty that the artist decided to put there. But no, I was wrong. Those shimmery spot gloss images in the backgrounds of the majors is there for a reason. They're actual things, and in the book the artist speaks about what it is, and it tells you that, and I absolutely love that. I love trivia. I love learning new out of the box facts. That made me fall even deeper in love with this deck. This is black backs, black edges, black backgrounds with golds and these whites and these otherworldly beings, and it's so sophisticated, so elegant, so luxurious, and oh my gosh. And this deck has the sexiest hermit and the sexiest death card I have ever seen. And those are two of my favorite cards to look at in a deck. So to me, this deck is perfection, and it is only number two, because the number one space, of course, will always be Tarot of the Cat people. So that tells you right there, this one is very high up. Very, very high up. It is, it's so good. It's amazing. As soon as I received this deck, it was on the top of everything else. I never stopped using it. I use it for clients even. Look at this death. Ooh, yes, here he is. Look at him. Isn't that such a good card? Ooh, and one of my all-time favorite strength cards. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's so good. So good, so good, so good. That is one of my other soulmate decks, the True Black Tarot. Okay, so number 5 is the Slow Burn, a deck you didn't have the best first impressions of, but the more you worked with it, the more you liked it. I don't have a deck for this prompt because, as I said, I don't have any decks that I didn't initially like. I don't feel that you should force yourself to like a deck. So, I don't know. I just don't have one though for that. Okay, number 6, Opposites Attract. This is a deck that is not your usual style, but you love it anyways. And for this one, I chose the Tarot of Oneness. I absolutely love this beautiful little deck. But let me tell you why I feel that it fits this prompt perfectly for me. Reason being is that I like a rather dark aesthetic. This deck does not have that. It has these orangish, light orange edges. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Words. Has this very colorful background, which is beautiful. I look at it and I do love it. I do. It just works for me with this deck. And that is why this totally fits Opposites Attract, because again, I do not like a lot of color. I like dark. I like quote unquote gloomy, like what other people feel would be gloomy. To me is happiness. Like I absolutely, this is one of my favorite cards in this deck because to me, a rainy, dark, cold day makes me happy. I don't like very sunny, bright, hot days where everyone else seems to be just thriving. To me, that is misery. Absolute misery. But so this one, it offers such vivid colors. They're so bright and they're uplifting and they're happy and everything that I am not usually attracted to. But let me say, it totally works in this deck. It works so well that I fell in love with this deck. Totally a Opposites Attract type situation here. I actually love this High Priestess. I've heard a lot of people say that it's kind of boring and it blah 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 like negative things about it, but I don't know, it works for me. I love it. This is giving you that perspective as though you are really in this card. You are the lion here, right? And these are your paws. You are the mama elephant here, and this is your trunk. And you are on the horse. I absolutely love the perspective that the author, Robin Voisey, I love her perspective. She just did an amazing job. She's an amazing artist. Wait, who is the artist on this deck? I don't know that she is the artist. Is she the artist? Usually they have like an about the creator and about the artist pages. So is she the artist? Okay, it says that Robert. Oh my gosh, I cannot say Robin. Robin. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Robin attended a school of the arts. Hopefully I'm not wrong in saying she is also the artist of this deck. It definitely seems that she is. So I really love what she has done with this deck all around. I love the details that she gives you in the guidebook. I don't know if you've heard my other videos where I talk about the guidebook. If it's a guidebook where it's just going over the typical tarot meanings, I don't read that book. But if it goes into why the artist did what they did in the pictures, in the cards, and their thought process behind it, that is a good guidebook for me. It just lets me, this is such a good 9 of Swords, I think. So anyways, yes, that is why this deck is a opposites attract deck because of all of these bright colors that usually I am just not attracted to. But in this, chef's kiss, it works. The Tarot of Oneness. Okay, so number 7 is Blind Date, an impulse buy, a gift, or a deck you got without much research but ended up really loving. And that for me right now is the Tarot of Sacred Kingdoms. Oh my goodness. Love the box. I love these that open at the top like this. This deck was a gift for one of the 10 days of Christmas, such as the tarot deck was. The Crow Tarot was my recent birthday on the 10th of May. I have yet to do a birthday haul like I said I wanted to do. This deck is absolutely beautiful. We have the beautiful matte black gilt edges. Okay, what's happening? Oh, yes. Okay, so this deck gives you 2 extra cards. This, though, oh my. This deck, as soon as I looked at it, I was like, oh my goodness, I really like this deck. I think it's so pretty. This deck has so much depth to it. This deck does not follow your typical imagery for the cards, and that I have found works so well for me. I have read for clients with this deck, for myself, for family. It's one of those that I can honestly say that, like, since I got it, I haven't put it down. This has been my go-to for right now. It has made it to the top of my, I don't even know what, top 5, top 10 tarot decks. It's beautiful. I love the backs. It's so busy in a perfect way. It has a gilded border and title, as you can see there, in this beautiful like aqua color. Usually not a color that I'm attracted to, but it works here. The cards have this darkness to them, as you can see, and like this right here is the 3 of Swords. You can really pull in so much out of this card, even though it isn't the traditional imagery, as I was saying. So this was totally a blind date, fall in love all the way deck for me. Isn't it beautiful? Let me know your thoughts on this. It's I haven't seen it online, and I just think that it's so good. It's so good, so good, so good. So that is the Tarot of Sacred Kingdoms, my blind date deck. Okay, so number 8 is a second chance, a deck you plan to get rid of that worked its way back into rotation, or a deck that you did move along and ended up repurchasing. Okay, so I have one that fits this, and it's a little bit of a weird topic for me. This would be the Joie de Vivre Tarot. I was gifted this, not this deck, but the Joie de Vivre Tarot on 2 birthdays ago, I believe. No, it was Christmas. 2 Christmases ago. And it was gifted to me by a person who was pretending to be a friend that just was not. And they became very controlling, and they showed their true toxic colors. And so I could not read with that deck. I couldn't pick it up, and I was figuring out how I wanted to get rid of this deck. This person, there's a lot of darkness that goes behind that story. I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, things got bad, and I didn't know how I wanted to get rid of this that deck. I was like, I just need to throw it away. But then I thought, man, what a waste of a deck. Somebody else could enjoy this. But I even had issues with that, because I was like, there's just so much ugly behind this deck, and I feel like giving it, this is probably dumb, but it's almost like I felt that giving it away was passing along that ugly energy. Does that make sense? Or is that being like extra dramatic? It's just how I was feeling at the time. So it stayed on my shelf way in the back where it couldn't be seen, and I had told my mother about this, and I was just so unhappy because I really like this artwork. And so for Christmas, in with a huge tarot box, a haul, I guess you could say, that my mother gifted me for this past Christmas 2023, was this deck. And I was so happy because this was given to me out of love. It was given to me from a safe person, my mother, my best friend. And so now when I look at this deck, I think of her. I think of her stepping in. I think of this deck in a whole different light. Her and I sat and looked at the artwork together, and I got her commentary on it. I got, what she saw in this deck, what she liked, if she didn't like anything, things like that. So I was able to really see this deck in a new light. And for me, that is why I feel like this fits the second chance prompt here, because while this isn't the exact deck, that one is gone now, the deck overall is a second chance. You get me? So yeah, so I love this. This has such a February lovey Valentine's type vibe to me, and I absolutely love that because I love Valentine's. I guess I'm the odd person out on a lot of things because a lot of people don't like Valentine's Day. They say you should show your love all the time, and who's to say that just because you love Valentine's that you're not showing that love all the time, right? And it's a day to celebrate love. How can you not love that? Even if it's love for yourself, love for a friend, love for your parents, love for your kids. It doesn't have to be you and a partner. So, I love Valentine's Day. And this is one that I really, really love to pull out during that time. And now I can. So I'm so happy about that. So yeah, Joie de Vivre, second chance deck. Number 9, Unrequited Love. You really want to love this deck, but it just doesn't love you back. Okay, so this is the prompt that I don't have anything for either, because I don't have any decks that I feel I don't vibe with. The Joie de Vivre would have been the only one, but I've already explained that. So yeah, don't have anything like that. I love all my decks, and they love me. So that brings us to number 10. Our last prompt is the love triangle. Ew, hate that whole thought of love triangles, like in movies and things. That whole love trope is just, But this says it's either, this prompt can have two different ways of looking at it, and I do like that. So it's either two decks that are in competition with each other in your collection, or a pair of decks that you always use together. So I don't have two decks that are ever in competition with each other. None of that ugliness going on here. Nothing but lovey vibes. So what I went with are the decks that are always paired together. And I have a few to show for that. So since I didn't answer like 2 prompts, I feel like it's okay. So I'm going to pull back out my True Black Tarot because I pair this one with the Divine Nature Oracle. Ooh, I love this Oracle. This also has all the luxe vibes. We have tons of gold gilding all over the backs of these cards. The light probably isn't picking it up, but each of these flowers along here and the pretty filigree and all inside here is gilded, and it's so pretty. The edges are gold gilded. The borders have 2 different colors going on between this light color and the darker brown. And I really love it with my True Black. And this is the only Oracle that I will pair with the True Black. Now, yes, they are completely different, but it just works for me. I suppose maybe it's a feeling. I feel like the Divine Nature can totally hold its own up against something as powerful as the True Black. Usually it's, a visual thing, and it's like which 2 art styles go together, which 2 art styles can fit well with one another. And there's not much or not many decks that can do that with the True Black. because this one is just, it's so good. So this for me is totally a feeling thing. This one is so deep. And yeah, so this is one that, this is special companion to my True Black, and that's the Divine Nature Oracle. Okay, then we have the Haunted Manor Oracle deck. Ooh, I love this one. This is totally my vibe. This whole black and red vibe, yes. You know, earlier when I was showing the Tarot of Oneness and I was like, this is totally not my thing, it's because this is dark, red, moody, luxurious type of a deck. That's my style. So I pair the Haunted Manor with 2 different decks, and they go absolutely perfect in my opinion. The first one I'm going to show you is the Baroque Tarot. So good. That was my grand finale in my big huge tarot box from my mother last Christmas. It's so good. You know what? I'm going to show you both of them together. Or not both of them together. I'm sorry. All of them together. So the ones that I pair, I don't use all 3 of them together. I would pair the Dark Manor Oracle with the Baroque Tarot, and I would pair this Oracle with the Tildwick Tarot. Okay, just wanted to clarify that. But I'm just going to show them all together. This is the 10th anniversary Tildwick deck. Okay, so they all have the beautiful gilded edges. These 2 are done in gold. This one in red. This one, these 2 do not have people in them. This one does, but still I feel like they go so good together. Again, it's pretty much a feeling. It's that antique-y, rustic-y vibe, right? And of course, this is showing you all the things inside of a haunted manor. This here, if you watch my video on it, I go into depth about how my imagination goes crazy over this. I created a whole story behind this deck, and it's so good. It's just so good. It is. It's so good. This to me is an abandoned castle, where it's showing you all the things that were left behind, and I feel like this oracle also shows that. It depicts things that were left behind in a haunted manor, in an abandoned manor, right? So yeah, I just think it goes so well. Now this one has gilded titles. This one has gilded borders and the number. This one does not have gilding on the titles or on the face of the cards, but it does again have it on the sides. And they all have the same cardstock, which is also really nice. You have the same textural experience with these cards. I love it. I don't even know exactly what to call it. It's like a, you know, it actually feels kind of cardboardy, but it's like cardboard, but make it luxury. And then boom, you have these 3 decks. So yeah, so these are ones that I would always pair together. I just feel that they work so good. Also, the Hush and the Tildwick, I really like to use together. I have a video also about the Hush Tarot on my channel if you're interested. And woo, my imagination really went crazy on that one. So, okay, so this would be my love triangle, and that is the Haunted Manor Oracle, the Tildwick Tarot, and the Baroque Tarot. Alright, I have one more pairing to show you and we are done. And it does include, once again, the Tarot of the Cat People. I rarely ever paired this with anything. Nothing just felt good enough to pair with this tarot until I bought the Between the Worlds Oracle deck. This is, I really like it. I really want to do an in-depth video on this for you because it has a structure to it that I think is just really good. I like when Oracle decks do their own thing, but they also have this structure to it. Now, this deck is all about cats, and this deck is all about birds. And I absolutely love birds. I have a few favorites. Like, have you guys heard of the shoebill stork? It's so good, so good, so good. Anyways, these I feel go so well together, like perfectly. First of all, they're even pretty much the same size. The Oracle is, of course, a little bit bigger than a standard tarot deck. The Cat People here is a standard tarot deck size. But look at the colors. There are these dark, even though there's a lot of colors going on, it's done in such a way that is dark. And I love it. It speaks to my dark, loving side. And I love how these have such a dark background. Now, I will say, this is actually hand done by the artist. She stippled all of this. All the little detail that you see is hand done. This is an AI deck, but I'm okay with this deck because the way the artist talks about, the creator talks about how much time they spent with it. They really didn't just like type something in and boom, go with whatever image came up. They spent a lot of time looking into it and tweaking it and making sure that it really met what they wanted, and gave the image and the outcome that they really wanted for that card. So yeah, so this is the Tarot of the Cat People paired with Between Worlds. Now there is another tarot deck called Between the Worlds. I don't know how they were able to name two oracles so similar, but this one is Between Worlds and the other oracle is Between the Worlds, and that one little oracle I feel like pretty much goes with anything. So anyways, yes, okay, so that is my final deck pairing and for the final prompt in Tarotmance. Thank you so much for coming along and watching and listening to me ramble on about all of these decks. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let's talk about it. Until next time, nothing but love, guys. Bye.